I am Day9.
And I'm Rob Simpson, and right now the series currently sits at Palantir 2 to Google's 1.
Now this is a huge shocker for anyone who followed AHGL Season 1 as Google made it to the top 4. They were in the semi-finals before being eliminated by Zynga. The Zynga Zergs and the one Protoss Jules. The question is, can they make it to top 4 again? Jimbo, everything rests on the line for him and his team. Jimbo from Team Google spawning in the right as the desperate Teal Terran.
And up here in the upper leftish corner, playing as the Pink Zerg, we have Slick Sword playing as the slimy Pink Zerg.
Looks like
for Palantir.
Yeah, looks like the map is going to be Antigua Shipyard. So what this means is that ordinarily it would be all about the big mass macro, but keep in mind, Jimbo, if he just comfortably takes his third base, can just waltz right on over to this area and begin waltzing into the main with drops, siege tanks on the low ground, and it can become quite icky for the sword that's slicky. Fairly quickly.
Now, Google thought coming into this that they were going to get away from alliteration like Zynga Zerg, but of course, you brought it right back, and now they are trembling in fear.
That is true. The gallant Google Jimbo will try his best to not lose. Though there was very little alliteration used, I still said a thing that was true. Wow, look at that. Fast refinery from Jimbo. Looks like he wants to be doing some sort of fast tech build.
Oh man, and that dastardly drone is now moving up his base
will be
able to get in to get all of the important information.
Oh, he got scout blocked by that one single supply depot.
Oh, and now we have the SCV sword fight, and he pulls right through the supply depot with all of his slippery tricks.
And it looks like the supply depot is taking some serious hits. Can he continue building it? Can he continue? He better build it. He better build it. He better build it. It looks like the drone taking some hits. The drone is in the orange. He's in the deeper orange. He's getting close to red. He's at 8 hit points.
Oh, man.
Sneaking back in, and it looks like Jimbo.
Gets
very
over
standard.
Most definitely, and now over here we have Slick Sword. He does almost have that hatchery just about finished. He also has his spawning pool started as well. So actually, both these players are playing extremely standard, because you want to make sure not to take your opponent for granted when you could lose and your team will hate you forever.
That is true. It's so easy to succumb to the pressure and to just cheese all in.
Well,
Jimbo, no, this is not an all-in, Rob.
You're right.
Be very careful.
Absolutely correct.
I'm glad you bring this up because it is indeed true that this is a standard way to force the opponent to pull off drones. This causes him to be unable to mine gas, which is all intended for the very fast Pecturi plus reactor.
Man, and Slick Sword is just not controlling those drones just as well as he
the
possibly could,
drones!
but now he's starting to control it once again. Will he be able to kill that SCV? There's
it's
only a few HP
Oh
remaining.
my god, is this actually going to finish? Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it finishes up the SCV with still more life than he really needs.
Oh.
And oh my god, he actually, it's done.
That is great news for Google.
And it looks like Jimbo from Team Google still has to work hard to get an extra Marine into the bunker, but apparently hard work cannot help.
Not when you're surrounded by slick drones, Sean.
That is true.
And now we've got Jimbo finishing up his factory just as that reactor is about to finish as well, so we're going to see some Hellion pressure.
Oh, I love this follow-up. The bunker rush straight into Hellion pressure. Looks like Jimbo. Oh, he unloaded into the tiny, tiny corner where the drones and lings ripped him into shreds anyways. And it looks like Jimbo now getting the starport up. Following it with the Hellion play. We may very well see some kind of Hellion drop. I mean, no gas has been mined yet from Slick Sword from Team Palantir.
Why do you need gas when you already have a Slick Sword, Sean? And now we have the Zerg player moving across the center of the map. And it's just... Oh, man! He does get over there and he sees the Hellion, but will the Hellion be microed and stop him? Yes, very nice control from Jimbo.
Jimbo, oh, what a terrible position to be in for Slick Sword. He is being set on fire. And of course, with the slow lings, there's not really that much he can do. Oh, he's hunting. Oh, his eyes are big. He sees his prey in the jungle. And he will stop at nothing until its blood bleeds.
And burn, dead, and stuff. And now we have Jimbo continuing to stay active with those Hellions on the field. He's adding on an additional 2, and man, that Starport and Tech Lab are there. And he also has a command center.
Will he be getting Cloak? Will he go straight for the Banshee tech? It looks like indeed he's going for that tech to Banshees. More Hellions popping out. The burning continues. And it looks like Slick Sword is forced to go. Oh my gosh.
Man.
Double Evolution Chamber, double Spore Crawler, single Spore Crawler with no gas. Oh my gosh. I would describe this as a little bit of panic.
As long as he's safe and lives, it will be well played in his mind. And so we have the Hellions now moving up here into the base. Will they be able to do anything? There's only a single Spine Crawler. There are a couple of Queens there as well. Oh, well, now we see Slick Sword getting a little worried. Pulling off some drones. And right back to business as usual.
Now, is that Banshee gone? I think it actually just never finished.
Yeah, it's the first one is just finished.
That's the first Banshee coming out right now. Jimbo
man.
losing a little bit of focus. Oh, man. But either way, Slick Sword is looking quite prepared for all types of harassment.
He most certainly is, but as he moves around the side, oh man, there is a small vulnerable part, but it's looking like Jimbo is stopping.
That Banshee wanted to die, and he got his wish as his little body parts spatter over the cliff and fall off into outer space, which is actually about a foot away. How can you breathe on Antigua Shipyard?
They live in outer space, man. They're 100% in it all of the time now. We also see a second Banshee finishing, but will Jimbo be able to make better use of this one? This time he'll have Cloak.
Ooh, I actually think this could be a little bit dangerous for Slick Sword, as he doesn't really have any way to detect and move out into the middle of the map. Sure, he can detect it home with the Spore Crawlers, but he has to wait until he gets his layer up. Another spine being planted, all those geysers going down, and despite Slick Sword's somewhat
solid defense.
I would call it an anti-solid defense. I was trying to find a word that began with S that described kind of shaky defense, but I mean, Slick Sword really has a nice macro set up. He's pulling his drones back. A little bit inconvenient, but as long as he keeps that drone's loss count fairly low, I mean, keep in mind, Jimbo from Team Google has only killed 3 workers.
And he's built 2 Banshees then. Now we see Slick Sword moving up into the lair as well, and now that Banshee is going to be forced to retreat. It only has 20 energy remaining, and he just really has not gotten the mileage out of that he needs.
Ooh, now see, Jimbo I'm starting to get a little bit worried for. He was doing so much damage at the start of the game, but he needs to transition into some sort of big attack mixture, and it looks like he's going to be going mech. Interesting.
Well, that is interesting, because he could absolutely take advantage of currently having map control and stuff. And now over here, Slick Sword is just about done with his lair and is starting to add roaches to his army.
Now this is a very nice decision by Slick Sword. He can easily get the roaches up to be able to rip apart this mech army. Ooh, nice build on the Overseer with the money transfused. Starts to send that queen forward. Will that Overseer fall? It will actually get healed to full life when it pops out. Kaboom. Now he's a healthy Overseer. No upgrades yet on either of the evolution chambers, and amazing high-sec auto-tracking going down. No way. Oh,
whoa.
Awesome. We do see it looks like mech. Blue Flame Hellions, Jimbo getting his third base up. The Terran from Team Google is looking good and denying the third base from Slick Sword.
And this is exactly what Jimbo needs to do at this point. Even though that his Banshees did not exactly do the amount of damage that he needed, he is now taking the game back into his hands.
He is advancing forward. It looks like the Viking there to try to kill off the Overseer, the Banshee there to kill off everything else. He does some very nice scoot and shoot micro. Oh, will he be able to pick off that one Overseer? He cloaks and a transfuse. He's going to have to run. He's going to have to run, and he does. Eventually, he's going to... Jimbo,
you're in range, Jimbo.
and there he decloaks and he runs. Meanwhile, back in the main, amazing double reactor. He is going for Hellion en masse.
All of the Hellions, Sean.
He's going to build the Hellions in this game.
Well, now we can see that Slick Sword has been adequately distracted by all of this harassment, because he just still does not have any semblance of an army.
Is Semblance the thug abbreviation of resemblance?
Semblance, yo. Man, Slick Sword is lining them up in the main. If a couple Hellions get up in there...
Oh my gosh, his hive is done. His spire...
13 minutes.
A 13-minute hive? Holy cow. What's your strategy in Zerg vs. Terran? My strategy is Broodlords. It looks like he's building the Spinecrawler array mid-map. This is the fastest Broodlord I have ever seen, only if he gets the Greater Spire.
He has taken Rhett's most recent Red Bull land performance to a new level. Oh no.
Oh, a single Hellion is all it takes. It takes a Hellion and not much more. That's a book by Hillary Clinton. It looks like Hellion moving forward, doing a lot of damage to the third base. They're lined up, Rob. They're lining up.
They are, and the Hellion gets in there and burns all of their slimy slickness away, and then is murdered.
Looks like 15 drones coming out. That brings the drone count to whatever 63 plus 15 is. I'd imagine it's going to be probably something like 78, but you can never be sure. That's why we have this tab. 78 drones, Rob, and the Corruptors are popping out, and we have yet to see a move out by Jimbo.
One of the best ways to do math is to just build that adequate amount of units and then add them on in the next round so that you don't have to use a calculator.
Looks like Jimbo advancing farther and farther forward. I mean, Team Google is just not looking particularly solid at this point in time. Has really no way to answer to those Broodlords. Is going to have to begin making those Vikings, otherwise Slick Sword will slide his way into a sufficient victory for his team.
I cannot follow up that alliteration, so I will merely state that that third is looking real good for Jimbo and his massive Hellions.
Yeah, he has a huge amount of Hellions, doesn't he? 17, only 14 Lings on the field. These Hellions aren't going to be... God, Nexus 1 when the game's midway through, he's like, I've had enough, and he leaves the game.
I know what's going to happen.
If only I won.
Now... that he has just about enough Hellions to one-shot nearly every Zerg building. Oh, well, that's a sneaky fourth, Sean.
I know. I mean, if there's one player also trying to do a little bit of sneaky action, it would also be Jimbo. While Slick Sword slithered his way to that Greater Spire, and it looks like he has no gas for Broodlords. He has 9 Corruptors, 3 more en route, and only 280 gas.
Oh no, he's currently missing a very crucial ingredient to his Broodlord no-gas recipe. That would be gas.
Looks like the answer that he's going to try to do is get more expansions up, but Jimbo spots it. The drone gets rocketed. And meanwhile, the mech army from Jimbo continues to increase. It looks like the level 2 armor is done. He may start level 3 starting fairly soon.
Wow, and Jimbo is just ready to continue expanding everywhere, always, for the rest of the game.
Slick Sword continues to build spine crawlers. He has almost as many spine crawlers as his opponent has Hellions.
That's a high number. Now, the thing about having all those spine crawlers means that actually doesn't add to his supply. Maybe he'll build enough spine crawlers so that it will take too long for the mech army to push into him, because there aren't any tanks in that mech army.
I mean, it looks like there's I hate to say
oh,
it,
wait.
Rob, but
there's a lot of tanks
there
in that army.
But
the Hellions blindsided me.
But it seems like this number of tanks will be insufficient to remove those spine crawlers quickly enough. Banshee's trying to harass in the main. Get repelled by a single spore crawler. The queens there continue to try to do damage. Looks like the Hellions on the high ground rip apart some of those Lings, and in the meantime, the Spinecrawler army remains huge.
Oh,
and the pair of Broodlord's going to try to pick off this refinery, do a little damage to the expansion. But he needs more Broodlords. He has 3 more on the way.
And he's starting to get a little bit active with those Lings. Maybe he needs to get an accurate army count on what exactly Jimbo has.
Planetary Fortress does have the high-sec auto-tracking, so it could shoot those Zerglings from one range farther away.
That is what made the difference in this exchange, because had they not attacked, that Planetary Fortress would be dead.
Looks like we have the big Ling Spine army. There's the scan. Jimbo has to win with this push. The tanks siege up. The Zerglings have to reposition. How many Broodlords does he have on the field? 5. With 1 more on the way. Will 6 be enough? That is a lot of Vikings, Rob.
Oh man, but that's also a lot of Corruptors on the other side of the field. Now, if Jimbo just takes the slow and slowly pushes across the map, keeping all of the spines out of range, he could very well take this.
It looks like the Viking count might be too high. 5 more Vikings being produced. The Broodlord's doing some amazing damage on the ground, but I don't think it's going to be enough, Rob.
Oh man, and Jimbo is now pushing through, but Slick Sword only has Lings to protect him from this army.
Lings versus the Hellions. Oh, it's a massacre. Oh, the Lings do not survive very long at all. The food is rapidly plummeting for the Palantir Zerg.
Oh man, well there were Lings there just a minute ago, and now we have all of these Broodlords trying to fight the army by themselves. There is some Roach ground support, but it just might not be enough.
They're still very even in food. More Lings popping out for Slick Sword from Team Palantir. No Roaches in sight, and it looks like 2 Roaches in sight. Trying to step forward, but tanks do unsiege, make short work of those Roaches, but the Zergling count is enormous, getting overrun, but it looks like the Viking Banshee force, the Sky Terran, may be able to take down the Zerg.
Oh, wow. And yes, as he clears out the sky now of all of the Overlords as well, he just has such a massive force pushing across, and all of those spine crawlers have evaporated.
And now Jimbo sieging up. He is tearing down the spine crawler wall.
Tearing him up.
Is tearing him up, and it looks like despite not being lined up, the tanks still eliminate the spine crawlers with relative ease. Corruptors pop out, but can't even get to their rally point as commanded. The drones! Oh god, the drones! The drones!
Oh, the horror as they get fried as they line up for the Hellions. It's not looking good as that workers' kill count just climbs through the roof.
Oh, and a good game! The series has tied up. It is 2-2 between these devastatingly good teams, and Jimbo, the meching Sky Terran, has tied up the series.
Jimbo's jubilee of mech units pulled through to get his team into the ace match.
Now the question is, who will the teams be sending out? I will know the instant I load up this overlay, and it looks like it's going to be Tristan versus Jimbo.
Well.
Oh, I can't wait for this match, Rob.
Nor can I, so let's get over to it after we take a look at this bracket, because whoever wins this is going to advance, but the loser will be eliminated from the championship bracket.
Looks like we'll be coming back with the ace match between Palantir and Google after this brief break. This is the After Hours Gaming League. I'm Day9.
And I'm Rob Simpson. Keep it locked.